Yeah. We are live on Friday night, baby. What's going on, man? This is Architect 7. I got my man Dialect 718,
What's
Don
up?
Juan the Mac,
Don't want to match.
Diva Views, and David Simon is last but not least.
My shit don't stink.
Yeah, shout out to David Simonism Architect 7 and Diva Views for jumping live on Facebook. Doing solo shows. Shout out
Happy to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I was on
Yeah.
StreamYard as well.
What's that?
But I was on StreamYard.
Correct. I
Yeah,
said
Wednesday night.
yeah.
Yeah, part of the new lineup.
Just trying to bring more live feeds to everybody, get everybody involved a little more, and get some of the individual personalities out there, let you guys know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
More engagement. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, got to keep the people engaged. But tonight, man, we got a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
He is a DC legend for Wednesday birthdays, and
Yeah, part of the new lineup.
Somebody getting the feedback on. Get everybody involved.
That's me. I'm sorry.
And get some of the individual. But we got Priest the Nomad, who is a DC legend. He's been around the game for a while, and he's got a few new joints that he's dropping, and he's also promoting his the Manhood Project album. So we look forward to hearing from him. He should be on around 11:15, man. So what we got?
Yeah, let me jump into the album anniversaries this week. Pretty short list. So the first album I have on deck is the debut album from Blue in Exile. And this one is Below the Heavens.
Yes.
You remember this joint, Architect 7?
Yes, I do. There's several joints on that.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, he just dropped a new joint with Exile.
Yeah, I was trying to find
recently.
it. I couldn't locate it, but I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah, that's a great album, man. Classic in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I got a question, real quick. Is this the reason why they tossed us last week? Was showing pictures?
I mean, I haven't unraveled that mystery.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So this is Blue in Exile. This album dropped July 17th, 2007. Wow. So it's like its 13-year anniversary.
Damn.
Next album, the fourth album from BDP, Edutainment.
Yes, Edutainment, Beef.
Yeah, and the joint that was on this, man, the classic one is Love's Gonna Get You.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the only one I remembered, was Love's Gonna Get You.
Yeah, Beef was on there.
Mm-hmm.
The Racist, where he goes through the 7 layers of racism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a great album. It was one of my favorites back in the days, man. I used to talk BDP hard.
Yeah. This is a classic joint. Next album, released 1999, was Full Clip by Gang.
That was a 2 CD joint, right?
Yeah, this was like the 10-year anniversary joint. And if I'm not mistaken, it was like one side was an album and the other side was like a greatest hits.
Right. Didn't he have Jadakiss on the joint?
I believe so. They had Jadakiss. I believe this was the joint too that had that Inspector Deck joint, Above the Clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also had that song Full Clip where they started off with Big L, rest in peace.
That's right.
Yeah. Dope album.
One of Primo's world famous beats.
Yeah. And also we got a birthday of one of the members today, so about to get into that later. And this album was released
Super duper fly.
1997.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what I found amazing is when she did the Super Bowl halftime performance, and the young kids was like, whoever that was, they're gonna be great.
Oh, yeah.
She performed all her hits, and like all the young heads were like, whoever that artist was, she's gonna be great. She's gonna be famous.
It was so nice of her to put on this Missy person on. She put her on. I'm like, Missy like started the Virginia Beach thing. Like, who are you? How old are you?
Right. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Highly offended.
So I just want to ask everybody's opinion. Do you guys think she's a hip hop legend? Would you
Yes.
put her in that category?
Yes. Not my style of Steve, but certainly.
Female, absolutely.
She doesn't even have to be female. She's just hip hop legend.
Well, I would say female. I wouldn't put her in the same.
Because you're a chauvinist. We get it.
Not to be a chauvinist, though. I'm just saying.
No, don't try to backpedal now, Nick.
Then we starting early. We starting early tonight.
Yeah. So I mean,
I can't stand the rain.
I've been real critical of her. I've been real critical of her over the years, but I have to say, man, you know what? I give her credit, man. She's innovative. She could write R&B songs, and the only thing I had an issue with was that I didn't find her as an MC. I didn't think she said anything lyrically that moved me.
She was more like a fun party MC, but
Correct.
You can't deny her production and the way she writes. Like between Aaliyah, her and Timberland together, she had Genuine on. Like I said, she did the Virginia Beach thing. Nobody was checking for them before this. Hampton Roads, all that.
Her show was on.
And what's
you don't think Edie was lyrically worthy of being a hip hop artist?
Let's not get into that. But shout out to Jodeci and Devontae Swing, because I believe Devontae Swing was the one who they came up with from Jodeci. Timberland was Missy was a part of a girl group called Sister.
Right.
And, they kind of broke off and went with Aaliyah's uncle, I believe. And that's when
with Black Ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Missy. She started to grow on me. So I'll give her props today.
Give her flowers. Thank you.
And the last album celebrated anniversary is Nas's album Life is Good. Don't know what
slept on.
Don't know what album number this is, but this was a dope album though.
This is the one that 50 tried to diss. When he used the what was that sample? I can't remember I can't. Doom 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 doom. That's all I can hum it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
can't help you.
Yeah, he had a joint.
You get where I'm from.
Yeah, he had a joint in this called Bye Baby. He had a joint called Black Bond.
That Bye Baby was good. They used the guy sample.
Correct. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had the joint with Amy Winehouse on this too.
Yes.
Yeah, this was a dope album. So shout out to Nas. I also believe this was a double CD too.
Does anybody know why he's holding that dress?
Yes, it's Khalees's wedding dress.
Give $1 to Mr. David Simon is
Didn't know that. I learned.
Yep.
I was actually stumped. I mean, I would have guessed it was Khalees's wedding dress.
That's the dress she wore, and this is post the divorce, I believe.
Wow. Now let's jump into hip hop birthday. Could be an interesting first birthday right here. Celebrating a birthday, Daryl Chill Mitchell.
My man.
Yeah, Travis Trapp definitely had a good that Daughter's joint.
Who's that? Daughter's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Priest and Nomad, we're gonna be right with you. We just going over some hip hop birthdays right now. We'll put you on.
We got the DC legend waiting in the green room, sipping on the punch.
Okay, so to all my hip hop heads, when did you guys first see Daryl Chill Mitchell?
Okay, first time I saw him. Yes. But the next time I seen him was a John Larroquette show. He was a bus depot owner or some sort, and he was in the wheelchair then, and he was very funny.
Yeah, I know you remember him from House Party, that classic scene where him and Martin Lawrence got into it. When he's like, "Chill, don't bump the table." He's like, "Yo,
he can't bump in the table."
Then he had the group Groove Beat Chill that was signed to Uptown MCA. And they had a song called Nothing But Hip Hop Music. So there was a crew that was down with Andre Harrell back in the day. Never blew up, but he had a great acting career. And unfortunately, he had a motorcycle accident that kind of left him paralyzed. But he still managed to have a successful career. And the last show I seen him in was one of the Walking Dead shows. I think it's Fear the Walking Dead. He's a regular cast member on that.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was a motorcycle accident. So I always wondered about that.
Yeah. Now celebrating, he's no longer with us, but he would have been 59 years old today. And I just want to say happy birthday to Guru, the legendary Gangstar MC.
Oh, Guru, man.
Yeah, man. 59.
Timeless, baby. Timeless.
That means he was like an old head when he came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Timeless, man.
Timeless music, man. What's your favorite Gangstar track?
Oh man, it's gonna have to be Manifest for me.
Okay, just to get a rep. Mine is Mass Appeal. What about you, Diva?
Pass.
Okay. At least you're honest.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
Or Above the Clouds from.
Okay, I'm gonna get this Architect 7 right here.
Who's that? Ill Bill?
Yep, Ill Bill celebrating a birthday this week.
Man, he looks wild young in that picture.
Yeah, the older brother of Necro, lead MC of Nonfiction. Also did like a lot of collaborations, La Coca Nostra. And recently he did an album he said with Gorilla Nims, right?
Yeah, really dope album, Gorilla Twins. I'll
Yeah.
check that out. I recommend it to anybody.
Cool. Happy birthday, Ill Bill.
UG gave him a shout out the last interview.
They're from the same housing, same apartments out there in Glenwood houses.
The way I understand it, I heard he got some skills on the playground. Not Ill Bill, but the next one you had.
Jim Jones?
Oh, Jim Jones.
Yeah, I heard he could ball.
I don't
He's
know.
not as good as Cameron.
Cameron could ball. I don't know about Jim Jones.
I heard about Cameron. Yeah.
He was the AP, I think top 15 when he was in high school. Cameron.
You know, speaking of Cameron, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this documentary on Netflix, Kid from Coney Island.
Nah.
About Stephon Marbury.
Nah. Ooh.
No.
I gotta check that out.
Pretty good documentary, man. Killer Campbell's in that.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Marbury and Cam went against each other?
You got to see it, man.
That was really dope, by the way. I enjoyed that. That was a surprise hit for me.
Yeah. So
Yo, my cousin Gene used to ball against him in the city.
Okay. So next birthday we have
Il Nana.
Oh, Lil Kim.
Yes, Il Nana.
Back when she looked like herself.
Oh, I thought that was Nicki Minaj. No, stop.
You know what's crazy? It's like
Damn.
I went to,
Don't come for us, Barb's. Architect 7 on all social media platforms. Go get him.
Yeah, I went to actually went to Google Images trying to find an image to post, and it was like so many different faces of Little Kim. I just said, you know what? Let me just do it. Let me just go with this album cover right here.
Go with this album cover.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to be upset with me. You know what I'm saying? So I had to.
And she knows what she did to herself. She ain't gonna be upset.
Yes, happy birthday, Little Kim. And this birthday right here.
3 months in the federal prison.
Yeah, do you guys know who this is?
No.
Okay, this is Soleil. I don't know if you remember her, man. She did a joint
Really?
with back in the day called Who Dat?
Yeah, we all know Soleil. That's Genuine's ex-wife.
Genuine's ex-wife. You get this.
Soleil had her own thing going.
Correct. And she's the current wife of Richard Griffin.
Oh, that's right.
Professor
Griff. Professor Griff.
Yeah.
Get it right, dialect. Professor.
Professor Griff's wife right now.
You're kidding me.
Shut up.
Yeah, they've been married for a while now.
Yep.
Well, how long has she been divorced from Genuine? How long ago was that?
3 years.
Then that's not a while.
Wait a minute. So how long has she been married to Professor Griff?
2 years?
2017, I believe.
Yeah,
Good
3 years.
I mean, I thought it was longer than that, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah, Soleil had a couple of hits. She did something with either Beyonce when she was going solo or Destiny's Child. So she had a couple of joints.
Yeah, she did. And I think,
don't let go of Branch unless they got another.
Yeah. We didn't get enough of Soleil, in my opinion.
All right, y'all. So we got the guest in the green room. Just want to bring him to the show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Priest the Nomad.
Yeah. What's going on, Priest?
Yo. What's happening? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me know if I'm breaking up. I know these little buzz intermittent, man. So let me know,
Yeah, now you're coming in clear, man. You're coming in clear, man.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Peace. Architect, you know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Yo,
Priest, what to do, Priest?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So just a little background for everybody, man. Priest the Nomad's been around for a minute in the DMV. He is definitely a DC legend. He's in the area of like the K betas, and they've had staying power. And I know for a minute there, kind of was handling life, and then the whole DC situation where they were trying to move the go-go music out of the city with all the gentrification. And I remember you popped up. You popped up with the what was it? The Don't Lose the Soul. Can't Lose the Soul track. And then you kind of started steamrolling into the Manhood Project,
right,
and a couple other joints. So I know there was a little bit of time away from the game, and it looked like that kind of spiced you up and got you back in the mix. Am I correct with that?
Pretty much. I mean, like when I was I had took some time away. Well, first of all, when I was after I put out the 2005 Mr. Move Something project,
Right.
which was the last big thing. Then my crew had some stuff out, SPP, Storm, Poem Seeds, and all that. But I stepped back and I was engineering.
Okay.
I was still working at Omega Studios then, and I took over a lot of the hip hop, R&B, and gospel work for them. So, in a way, I was kind of stepping back as an artist and was more on the back end, and then I even stepped away from that. So I left Omega about 2011.
Okay.
So that's when I was really not. I really stepped back for a minute, and then probably maybe a few years before Can't Lose a Soul, I had started the Manhood Project. Actually, I started, wanting to get this. I was inspired by seeing some imagery of black men and stuff like that. And I just wanted to address a few things, and so I had started the project a few years before that, and it's just life happens, and so it was like a non-linear process. You know what I'm saying? So and then like I said, when the events started happening, like the Can't Lose a Soul came about again because there were a series of back-to-back things that happened with the gentrification thing. The first thing was because I had written that before the Metro PCS thing had even happened. Okay. With the go-go thing, you know what I'm saying? So it just happened to coincide when it came out. It was right after that event, but the song was already done from an incident that I had. Was involved with a restaurant with a chef friend of mine that was covered on in the media on Channel 9 and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, for everybody that's not aware, during all the gentrification, so there is a gym that's by Howard University, and actually Juan Mac and Dialect could speak to it. They rocked Go-Go live on the corner, and they were doing this and selling tapes, and they were doing this for years. And if
25 over 25 years. Yep.
Right. And if you know anything, if you were coming from Virginia, it didn't matter. But if you went through the district and you went through that area, that was a staple. And with the gentrification within the city, people were trying to buck that and trying to move that out of the city. And it's like, how the hell do you think you're going to move culture out of the city? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But
yeah, that's
so the Manhood Project. What was it, on Monday night? I played a few joints off of that. And what
that was a dope set. That was a dope set, by the way, brother. I just want to let you know that when I got tagged, my homegirl Shari tagged me, I think, and then and I came in and he was playing some joints on that. I was like, oh man. Man, it was very entertaining, bro. I was like, it was great to hear my stuff, but I mean, for real, the set was fire though.
Nah, I appreciate that, man, and I I think I feel this. I'm the same way. So I'm an MC by heart. Mm-hmm. I participated in hip hop my whole life, but I'm at a point now where I see there's just so much dope shit in our area, man.
Yeah, man, it really is. It really is.
I feel like sometimes we get siloed up into our own crews, and I'm at this point now where I'm like, I just want to show everybody what's out here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I totally agree, man. I've long had that. I've long had that mentality. So if even when we was battling, and I was on the scene battling folks back in the day, as crews and stuff. Whenever we repped outside of the area, it was always, it was always family. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody from here, I gave everybody love. You know what I'm saying? It was always love with me. And so there's it's like, you had different crews and different this. It was okay. We have to battle. We got to battle. We got to do what we got to do. But it was always love with me, man, because I really felt like we were all bastardized children anyway. You know what I'm saying? Being hip hop in the DC area. So it was like being in that kind of club. It was already hard. So my thing was just like, anybody that was really a fan of hip hop being from here, I just, to me, it was just like, yo, yeah, we kindred spirits. You know what I'm saying?
So Don Wanamac here. A lot of people talk about the
DMV. No, I mean,
I think somebody was saying. What were you saying, brother?
No, I was just saying. A lot of people talk about DC. Am I mic on? Can you hear me here? Am I off?
Yeah, you better now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people talk about the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. When I think of DC, I think of go-go. Do you have a go-go influence in your music, or is that something that anyone can expect to hear?
I think we all have that foundation. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in the area, go-go socially was the thing you did. You growing up, going, schools and high schools and, from junior high on to high schools, and that's what you did socially. So if you wanted to meet females, if you wanted to have any type of social interaction with folks outside of school, you went to go-go's, and that was the thing to do. But I had been, I was a hip-hop fan even back then in the 80s when there was a show called Breaker's Delight from Frank Ski. It was here before he moved to Atlanta. He was in the Baltimore area, and he had a show called Breaker's Delight, and it was on AM radio. And I remember, listening to that show in 86, you know what I'm saying? So like finding out about, Cold Crush Brothers and finding about a whole bunch of folks other than, that you wouldn't hear. So I think it's that. So when you're doing stuff, your art is an amalgamation of what your life experiences are, right? So we're going to go-go's, we're doing go-go stuff. So there's always a go-go influence. If you listen to Can't Lose the Soul, I mentioned it in there. I bring in, my man Leroy, shout out my man Boogie, Leroy Gray, who plays percussion. I got him on the congos and all that, because I'm saying, how y'all don't know about brother slapping them congos? You know what I'm saying? When you coming to DC, you got to revere it. So it's that foundation is always there. I mean, I grew up with my man Slick Rick and from Hot Cold Sweat and Heartbeat, Jose from Central Groove and all that. So it's a part of me, but I've always been a hip hop head, and I stand firmly with hip hop. That's just my thing. It lit my fire unlike anything has ever done.
Interesting. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was just saying I've been this way. Like I said, I've been, like, because I people from my high school would tell you I used to wear a microphone around my neck in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? In high school. So that tells you like I was really on something, and I used to battle dudes at lunch for their lunch money. Because he was like, man, you got a microphone around your neck for because I'm nice, nigga. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
In music, though, on the show and other shows, and I think perhaps even later, we often talk about New York or the East Coast influence in music. Do you find that there's a difference in music from DC, Maryland, into Virginia? And do you consider the DMV, or is it either just DC or is it just Maryland or Virginia?
Well, first, yes, there is a difference because go-go is exclusively ours, right? So go-go was basically, if you think about it as it relates to hip hop as a parallel, whereas you had the old soul records and stuff and Flash, and then we'll find the breaks of those records, right? The parts where really everybody got hype in the party. They find that 4-bar break, and they extended that break, right? Well, the same thing happened with go-go. It was funk music, and when Chuck and them was doing funk, he came up from the South. He was here. He
Chuck
was
Brown. Chuck Brown for the rest of the world, right? Chuck Brown, the godfather of go-go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when there's a go-go documentary I would recommend. It just came out on TV One. The show to TV One the other probably a few weeks ago. But it talks about how it was all the musicians were doing funk music, and it was just at one part they broke it down to the percussion and the drums, and he started doing a call and response. Yeah. And so every time they did that, people would jump on the tables, and he said, "Okay, well, this is it right here." So instead of the break beat, it became the pocket.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Priest.
So it's like the pocket. So that's the thing where as far as go taking off, because and then it became about the same thing about the neighborhoods. Every area's music, big up, especially black music, bigs up the neighborhoods, all where you're from, making the disenfranchised feel special.
I can tell you, if you ever make it out to Texas, there's one go-go song that you're gonna hear at least 3 times before the club is over with, And all my Texas fans, give me, you can give your shout outs there. You know what it is. That's EU, the butt. They will play that song at least 3 times. You know what I'm saying? And every weekend. And I kid you not. And,
the mainstream go-go hit, right?
Well, you call it the mainstream. Yeah.
So you know what's so wild, man? So of course, my native blood, I got Latino, Hawaiian, born in New York, moved to Virginia. So naturally, I carried like that hip hop banner, like hip hop or nothing. So in my younger years, it was like, I think Junkyard maybe stuck with me, but I had a hard time with a lot of the other go-go in my younger years. But
why so? Why so? Just curious.
I think I was just young and not willing to listen. You know what I'm saying? As you mature, you start to take on other genres, and like right now, I can drive down the road just listening to yacht rock, and then come in the crib and I'm banging hip hop. Right. But back in those days, I think I was so narrow minded. But it was funny.
You have what a lot of youngins have, which is the block mentality.
Right? Exactly.
Your block in your little sector of the world is the shit, and nothing else matters but that sector.
Right.
And every poor community, everybody has that thing, right?
Yep.
Their tribe, their block, their area.
It.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I wasn't too smart in my younger years, I got kicked out of school. And I got sent down to Florida. And the one thing that I brought with me that came from home, from this area, was Junkyard live at the Safari Club. And I had that tape.
The Safari Club.
And I think at that point is when I realized the influence that go-go really had on me. Like I was fighting it. But then when I wasn't around it, I grew to appreciate it because it was home. It's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? So then at that point is when I realized, like, yo, this is part of who I am now too. I can't, you can't shake it. So the love for that, now when I hear the older stuff that I used to put the blockers up to, I appreciate it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So
and just like with hip hop, right? And as far as being urban music, whatever, and for neighborhoods and stuff, because go-go bands came out of neighborhoods, right? So you had certain bands that represent certain neighborhoods or whatever. But the thing was, it was that it was centralized, it was like localized, right? And until it wasn't. And you know what I'm saying? The Junkyard thing, and also because of what I want to say, the culture of it. Like it's like hip hop. Hip hop has the culture around the music.
Right.
So go-go, same thing. Go-go had the culture around the music. So the way dudes did they thing, females did they thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you interacted with folks, it was all the culture. And if you had a negative experience with the culture before the music, it influenced how you, being not from here, or any culture. Like if you're not from a certain area, you have a negative experience. Like you meet, you at a go-go or something by a go-go, and some dude scope you out, catch you out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a hip hop joint.
All of a sudden, right? It's what I'm saying. It's parallel.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
All parallel.
Right.
So if you look at the changes go-go has undergone, it pretty much moved with hip hop. When hip hop was party, so was go-go.
There you go.
When it got gangster in the 90s, so that's when BYB came out. That's when Groovers. That's when it got gangster, was when hip hop got gangster. So because a lot of the covers were hip hop covers, so it was like whatever was popping became. It's like it was a parallel path. But I will say this: don't sleep on the amount of hip hop that has taken from go-go. Mainly, Herbie Azor Lovebug's whole catalog. In fact, DJ Cool is my man. And I had a conversation with him a few weeks ago, and one of the stories he told me was that when they did the Capitol Center long time ago in the 80s, and when Cool had just put out The Music Ain't Loud Enough to pump up the volume 86, right?
Yeah.
Said Herbie came to him at the Cap Center, was like, look, man, I want to let you know that I never heard nobody rap the go-go stuff like you. And that was the influence for the Mike Sounds Nice, Salt and Pepper. That was like the influence of Kid and Play. That was the influence of that Dana Day, that whole roster of artists. Herbie told Cool that like, yo, you were the
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, you were the influence of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and Cool is a part of that Go-Go documentary too. That's my dude. He's in a new video, you know. I got a video dropping next week for motivation. So
okay. Well, make sure you get that to me so I can rock that on one of my sets too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
let me clear my throat. Allow me 1 second, architect. Get in here.
Go ahead.
Priest, Nomad.
Yes, sir.
Religious man, priest.
I'm a spiritual man, not religious man.
Okay, because your rap sound like the First Testament. You seem like an eye for an eye kind of guy.
An eye for an eye?
Yes.
Okay.
What is it?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
I think my whole mantra is love, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I give love even to people who don't do me right. You know what I'm saying? So that's because my thing is it's all about energy, right? So my thing is that no matter, I'm all about good energy, man. So it's like, even if I'll take an L, you know what I'm saying? If we having an interaction and you know, everybody got they challenge and they path that they going through. And I said, just because I'm somewhere, you're not, you know, we might not be vibing on the same frequencies, you know what I'm saying? And I let you do you and I do me. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the way, you know, we come up, we handle our business. So if things get out of pocket, we handle that. But it's love, you know what I'm saying? I whoop a motherfucker ass in love, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the school where you whoop dudes and y'all still was cool. Like, you know, dude act up in the club, you might whoop him and then let him back in the club the next week. Like, all right, man, just chill down. Don't drink so much next time.
Right. That's the Nomad part about you. I was trying to figure out
the Nomad. Well, the priest part came in high school, and it was because of a situation where that happened, and I was conscious, and I talked the dude out of doing some real harm to another cat after school where his crew came up, and so my man who also rapped back in the day, rest in peace, he's gone now, but he was like, yo, man, you always preaching, man. You probably the only one who could have talked this dude out of this. I'm gonna start calling you priest. So it was priest at first, and then later on, I added the Nomad around 98 because there was a number of other priests. As far as a producer, they used to be down with Dre. There was a priest, a high priest in a group called Boom Poetic. I think they was out of New York, and Shock Key and them. And then, so yeah, I added the Nomad because I've always felt like I was a outsider of the industry, an outsider of the conventional norms. You know what I'm saying? The road less traveled. So, yeah.
So what is your fondest memory of Petey Green?
I didn't get to see a whole lot of that, and I just saw the mostly on the documentaries, mostly stories I've heard from parents and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's before my time, but I did catch a dope documentary on him. So just I think just the voice and the unapologeticness of him. You know what I'm saying? And the way he did his thing, you know what I'm saying? But I can't say that I'm a huge connoisseur, you know what I'm saying, on the life of the brother. But yeah, he definitely rapped hard, you know what I'm saying, and left a legacy. So just like so many others in the area, you know what I mean?
Stargazing, you talk about the cosmology of it all and things like that. You heard of the third zodiac sign?
Yes, but I wouldn't say that I'm a big zodiac person. But what I do know is that, so what stargazing is an analogous song. So basically, the whole reason why I came up, that idea came up for me was that I'm so used to, when I had to grow up, I always had to shrink myself. I'm 6'5", you know what I'm saying? Big dude. So I was always taught, you know, fit in, adhere to white comfortability.
Be less intimidating.
Right? Be less intimidating. Make white people feel comfortable.
I'm 6'1".
Stand in the back of the elevators. Do this, do that. And it should never work. You know what I'm saying? You look at me. If you got a problem with me, you're going to have a problem with me regardless. If you don't judge me by the character, instead of my skin color, then you're just going to have a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think stargazing is basically an actualization of me saying that it's no longer. So if you sweating me and you locking your doors when I walk by your car or you clutching your purse in an elevator, then I take that as you getting blinded by my light. You know what I'm saying? And so you're blinded by my light and you can't handle my light. So when every time something negative happens, I say, hey, okay, you watching me, you stargazing. Basically, you on my nuts. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically so if you listen to the song, I say, yeah, they watching this young brother, they stargazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole premise of it. I think the second verse was me kind of infatuated by sister, and I was like, but realizing how I didn't do her right. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, but I'm growing up now, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can work it out. I say, but never mind me. I'm just stargazing. You know what I mean? So that's the whole premise of that. My sign is Gemini, and I feel though, I definitely I'm definitely true to that sign. So
hey, I'm a Gemini too. I tell them all the time, yes, I'm a Gem in your eye.
Yes, sir. 2020. What's up?
So you say you started rapping in high school?
I started rapping before high school, but high school was when 88, and when I was in 10th grade, was when I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the pen seriously. And that was because of Chuck D, and that was because of Big Daddy Kane. So
you was influenced by New York rap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we're so close.
So Priest,
the proximity. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. The
proximity
I'm just saying,
in
New York.
Yeah, the proximity, and that's what we heard on the radio.
Right.
It was mostly New York rap at first, right? Unless you were in the Bay Area or you out in the West Coast, you weren't hearing a lot of West Coast until, you know what I'm saying, some Ice-T, NWA, a little, but you weren't hearing a whole lot of stuff. When I started hearing more West Coast, I was starting to love it in that. King T and of course, Harold, of course, so many folks in the 90s when I really started hearing it, but back in the mid 80s, I was going to walk you in for it, Priest.
You remember? Go ahead, Architect. I was going to ask you. I got to ask you. We and I don't want to deflect, Architect, but we've had this conversation here on the show about where East Coast hip hop stands. I was trying to bait you into it. I was trying to walk you into it. I didn't quite succeed, but since you brought it up, do you feel that New York hip hop still has a place in today's hip hop?
Yeah, I think hip hop is worldwide. I think everywhere has a place in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I think everywhere, because hip hop is no longer about where you're from.
It's a diplomatic answer there.
No, I'm serious. Hip hop. Well, I'm not from New York. I never thought that I was less than anybody from New York. You know what I'm saying? So, because when we used to go battle, I did it when the first Lyricist Lounge was up in Flatbush with Biz. So in '93. So you know what I'm saying? My whole thing was, if you bout something, you bout something. You know what I mean? If you're doing the history, if you learning the history, you take the culture seriously, you do your homework, you study, you develop your craft, then you should have the respect. You know what I'm saying? And you got to earn that. Yeah, you have to earn that respect. But I never felt anything was this. Of course, industry-wise, and again, I separate industry from culture. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, industry-wise, yes, it was all New York and then LA and then other spots. But cultural, I think every area had that movement. But yes, I mean, New York is the Mecca, so of course it was off New York. At first.
I see your music actually has ads in it on YouTube. Do you recoup from that?
You said my music has ads in it on YouTube?
Yes, between songs there are ads.
I get revenue from you. I get revenue from YouTube. Now I don't know how what the breakdown of that is, but I do get revenue as part of the whole distribution scheme because my distribution is through CD Baby. So
okay,
so you can either choose to have stuff on YouTube or not. You know what I'm saying? So
sounds like a red flag warning there, Architect.
I was really impressed with that fact that you were able to, get a deal with.
But I don't have any. No advertising. No advertisers have stepped to me outside of that. Like, cause I'm not like my man Odyssey with 100,000 news, fat people's.
You check the new album out? You check the new album they just dropped?
I haven't. I've checked the single out. I heard the joint with Olivier.
Okay.
The Confliction joint, and then the other one. So, but yeah, he just released it, so I haven't caught the whole thing yet. But yeah, we're dropping our joint next week as well. So
okay,
I couldn't have it ready for you tonight, Architect. But
nah, it's all good, bro.
But next week we'll be dropping at the single joint with me, Odyssey, and Substantial.
Hey,
okay.
Go ahead, Architect.
Let me take it back in time, right? You've been around the area for a long time, right? And you started mentioning the 80s. And if I recall, what was it at the point? I don't know if it was WDJY 100.3 was the FM station.
Okay, 100.
You remember the late night? Remember the late night?
100. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, 100. Yeah.
So when you were saying about the New York influence, that's what I used to tap into because I had my cousins, coming down from New York. They'd bring tapes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the late night hours, I would sit up late and wait for something to come on and pop the cassette in and hit record. You know what I'm saying? And
back when DJs actually broke records.
Right. Exactly.
And the only time you could really hear hip hop back then was on a DJ mix show. You know what I'm saying? Until it really started making money because you would only catch DJ mix shows. I mean, this is even in the past the 80s, even in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Here. I mean, I'm sure it was different in other areas, but here it was like you had to catch certain shows with my man CeeLo, Trini, Aaron, and then alternate radio, Steph Lover, all those, folks.
Right.
Alternate radio.
So now we talk about a little bit of talking about history. I don't ever hear anybody mention DC Scorpio. Why is that? Because I remember DC Scorpio.
He was the hero of the 80s, man.
He was. I remember him.
I've heard him get mentioned. I just don't think he gets mentioned because of what his era was. Like I said, in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Most of the cats don't really. Most people who know go-go and they feel like they old school go-go, they go back to the 90s. You know what I'm saying? They think that's the epitome of everything. But nah, they like a lot of people that won't know about DC Scorpio, they won't know about Reds and the Boys. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. I just think that he just came up in that era. He was one of the first, in that era, along with Cool. And it really wasn't too much material from him after. You know what I'm saying? After a certain point, whereas Cool is from that era, but he kept building, kept doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Getting with Dougie, getting with Biz, getting with
like Tabby Bonet. I think of him like a Tabby Bonet. Kind of like you bubble up and then you fade out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean Scorpio had a lot more love. Here he had a lot of respect. Here, you know what I'm saying? Rocking with the bands and stuff like that. But then other people came up, Stinky Dink, Fat Rodney,
Stinky Dink, right?
That's where. When Essence was allowing dudes to get on the mic. That's how Fat Rodney got discovered. You know what I'm saying? They talk about that in the Go-Go documentary, which I didn't even know. They said, basically, at spots where Essence was playing, they would let dudes come, get out the crowd and do their thing. And Fat Rodney came up, tore it up one time, and then he just kept, doing stuff with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what was it? It was Washington Hitmakers off of Georgia Avenue. I remember it was the DC... At least
DC Hole.
That's what I recall. Okay. Was
Black
Hole.
The Black Hole.
It's about Celebrity Hall.
No, the label was Washington Hitmakers.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what the label. Yeah.
Anyway, my head. I'm just taking it back. Anyway, I just wanted to walk down memory lane because I remember.
But I think that's what it is. A lot of people remember the 90s more so. You have to be really an older head to remember the 80s.
I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
Showing my age.
I'm proud to show mine, bro. I say stargazing. They didn't think I would make it past 18 in my life, but I'm a star, baby. Watch it, I focus my light. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 48 and I wear it proud, brother. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. You still spitting raw, so it don't matter.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We can still handle them.
What is Big Tigger's position in this go-go DC world?
Tigger was a radio personality. I mean, he's not He's not from here, but he definitely came here and made DC his home.
He's an intern at University of Maryland.
Tigger went to Maryland. Along my other one of my best friends who was working for Sony is now down at ACL. Tigger. I mean, just he like DC and this whole area is a transplant city. It's a transient city. So a lot of people, come here to be at the nation's cap for the opportunities, work-wise and things like that, and they get absorbed into the culture or they discover things once they do get here.
Hey,
that's
Priest,
one of the
Idiomatic from Twitter. Shout out to Idiomatic Music from Twitter. He says that DC Scorpio opened up a Run DMC when they came through the Cap Center on a Perfection tour. He did a freestyle about making Janet Jackson lose control. Crowd went bananas.
Yeah. I mean, that's the history, man. So I probably hit like one of those Cap Center shows. I hit one of the Cap Center shows and one of the Fresh Fest joints. When they had the Fresh Fest. Because I was hyped to go to that. And nobody wanted, even at the Fresh Fest joint, they had to open for go-go bands. Like, there wasn't no hip-hop. Wasn't no hip-hop motherfuckers headlining in DC. That just wasn't going to happen. I don't care how hot your record was. Even Dougie just said it he was on the Go-Go documentary. He was like, look, I had the #1 record in the country and came here and couldn't headline. And so Dougie's smart because he just got down with Essence. He got down with Go-Go bands.
Why do you think that is? Do you find that is DC too good for hip hop, or is it? I find DC to be more of a
I don't think so. I think it's just we just have our own music. That's all it is. It's like we had our own music, so that's what runs the streets. Go-Go runs the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's the movie. It's the music of our neighborhoods, our cities, our culture. So you got, again, bands come out of neighborhoods, right?
But to be fair, I mean, a lot of the go-go heads paid tribute to a lot of hip hop joints. They did it go-go style.
So it wasn't no beef. It's just we had our own thing. We just it's like no disrespect to you. We just doing us. So that's no all doubt. The thing. And go-go was one of the few that's what we talk about in the documentary. It was like go-go was one of the few art forms from a locale that money has generated back into the locale. Money has generated back into those same neighborhoods because you got the guys going to go-go's and making money, and that money goes right back into now I think if cats would really galvanize together, they could have a lot of more power, a lot more say so with because there's a lot of money being made in the genre, especially right now.
I was going to ask you, is there any more innovation in go-go? Because it's always the same group. It's either your Rare Essence, JYB, or
There's tons of groups, man. You got to kind of be a part of it to really know. You know what I mean? It's tons of groups. I mean, I'm not even a huge go-go head, and I know it's just as many bands. It's just as many bands now than it was. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a whole bunch of bands in the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? It's just as many, even the TCBs, the UCBs, I can't even go through all the names, man.
Somebody mentioned Beyonce's influence with go-go music. That's Chucky Thompson behind that. Chucky Thompson's DC, so that's where Beyonce got her sound.
Actually, Beyonce stuff was Rich Harrison.
Oh, Rich Harrison, is that what it was?
Yeah, okay. You talking about like Crazy in Love and all that?
She says
the joint. Chuck did stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? But Chucky Thompson and Rich Harrison both. You know what I'm saying? Was they producers from here, hip hop producers that have a go-go influence. So shout out both of those cats. But the Crazy in Love joint that really blew. And same thing with A. Marie. One Thing. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff.
Is that Rich Harrison?
Yeah, that's Rich Harrison.
Okay. That's a good one. I like that, A. Marie. Let me ask you quickly. Did you attend the Million Man March?
Yes.
Okay.
Both of them.
With the gentrification occurring in DC, can you still call it the Chocolate City?
I still call it Chocolate City because I think that the infrastructure and a lot of people don't know this, the infrastructure and the foundation that Mayor Marion Barry laid down in the city, I mean, literally creating the black middle class of wealth in this area and with DC government and the heat, and that's a documentary too that you guys need to see, because Marion Barry catches a lot of flack, of course, outside the city because they want to glorify that one incident that he got into or whatever. But he loved the hood, the streets, and the streets loved him, and that's why he got reelected. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much created the whole black middle class. I work for DC government. My wife works for DC government. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's generations and generations. When he took office, it was 1% of contracts in the city went to minority businesses. Once he took office, it was 50%, and that still holds to this day. So there's a lot, and you talk about a lot of the things that have been built, the summer jobs programs for youth, all this stuff that culminated from
taxation without representation.
You know what I'm saying? But that's not on him. That's something they've been trying to get done for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that, that's a continued fight. You know what I mean? So just like white supremacy, right? That's part of white supremacy. It's a continued fight. So, that's so you fight, you pick your motivational things you want to pick your sword up for, and you fight that fight.
Have you seen the Black Lives Matter on Pennsylvania Avenue?
The mural in person?
Yes.
No, I haven't seen the mural in person. My youngest was actually dancing to the cats who my youngest who danced on the trains on the Green Line and all that. They Can't Lose the Soul. They a Dream Coalition, and they actually filmed themselves dancing on that joint on Black Lives Matter Plaza for my video.
Right.
So I haven't been able to get down there yet. I just been home. I got young kids. I try to limit my time on the streets.
I'm in Dallas. I've seen it twice.
Huh?
I'm in Dallas. I've seen it twice.
No, bro. Well, you got me, bro. I mean, I've seen it on TV, but I ain't going to the city till I got to go to the city. You know what I'm saying?
What part of
Why this
DC
COVID joint is happening? You know what I'm saying? No, I grew up in Maryland. I was born in Northeast, in Brentwood off 13th Street. But when I was in elementary, we moved to Maryland. I was one of those, like I said, in growing pains. I was one of the kids, whose parents got them out, and every parent was trying to get their kids out the hood, and their kids was the hustlers.
So they got
and that's how I got out. That's how I got out to PG and Montgomery and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I moved from DC to Beltsville, Maryland, and then Hyattsville, Maryland. So I grew up pretty much in the Beltsville, Hyattsville areas.
Is it Maryland or is it Maryland?
Maryland.
Maryland.
MURRLYN.
I agree.
Young.
He's from the area. He's from the
Maryland, young. Yeah, but yeah, man. So, but it's when you growing up, you always back and forth across that line, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said a lot. More people out say they from the city. They always do a stint in across that line, whether it's Eastern Avenue, Southern Avenue. they do it sometime in the county. What I'm saying? So
you want to be honest, a lot of the suburb kids out here in Virginia, they knew our street really well.
Oh man, you wild.
Yeah, I see they got the police station up there now. All the cars out
there. Yeah.
I work over there at the on the Navy Yard.
You talking about Southwest?
Yeah,
Southeast. Yeah, but I'm talking about the Ospreys. You talking about where they used to go get the Doves at?
Yeah.
I used to live on 3rd and K, 3rd and Delaware.
It's called the baseball stadium now, right? It's a baseball stadium there.
Yeah, I used to live in 3rd and Delaware, dog. So I know. Right down this road, right around the street from the chapter, from the Mirage. I used to walk to the Mirage sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't the same no more.
It's not the same, sir. It's not the same.
Yeah. I was driving through with a coworker one day, and we went by that side of just over on the other side of the baseball stadium. And they still got the one. There's still some holdouts there.
Right.
But right across the street, bro, DC police station, all out there. Yeah, they took over this block. They said you will be.
Yeah,
you won't be enterprising this block no more.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, that's the that's the challenge, man, is to preserve not just the culture of Black people in the city and stuff, but the history, the culture, the land, all of that type of stuff. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in power trying to sell it out to the highest bidder. So
yeah, and I think Dave can relate to all the gentrification, because I know in Brooklyn there's been a lot of stories about jazz musicians getting the police called on them. They playing their instruments,
wow,
and the neighbors calling the cops because the dude's playing his thing on bass too late. But he's been doing that for years. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
it seems like it's in every city for real.
And you like, man, you knew that motherfucker was playing that shit before you moved there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the problem. It's like, they're like, well, gentrification is a good thing. I'm like, good thing. I'm like, it can be a good thing depending on how inclusive it is. But what happens is, you go, it's like you going, I said this on the news when we were doing a segment on the news. I was like, it's like you going next to a Popeyes. You know what I'm saying? You moving right next to a Popeyes. You're like, oh, man, that chicken smells real good. Man, it don't smell good. And you move right next to that motherfucker, and then you complain that it smells like chicken every day.
Right. Yeah,
you move next to a Popeyes, motherfucker. Of course it's going to smell like chicken every day. The Popeyes been there. Like, who? You know what I'm saying? You knew it was that doing that, but, that's the same thing with the Metro PCS. I mean, that call came from some white chick in that condo called the Shea, which is right across from the Metro PCS, like on the next block across the street. It was like you knew they was pumping that music before you even moved there. Yeah, you gonna move there and get brand new. Oh, it's an annoying thing, motherfucker. Don't you know when you move somewhere, you supposed to go there at night?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like they rocking that shit till like 10, 11 at night, motherfucker. You knew that shit. Come on.
Yeah, that's facts.
Karen. God damn it.
So that song, Make Some Noise. It's your birthday. Supposed to be a go-go joint by a DJ. Make some noise. It's your birthday. Make some noise. It's your birthday. You talking
about the only birthday joint I know is my man Killer Cow joint, Essence, but nah.
That's not new.
I don't know about it. Yeah, like I said, I'm not up on all the new, the new stuff that come out. So
okay,
can't speak on it.
He said he's checking out his 401k.
In April, you dropped your last project, right?
So what now?
April is when you dropped your last project.
I dropped the man
December.
Yes,
I dropped it in December. Really, is the top of the year. I had the party right before the top of the year, so I say like pretty much the top of the year is when I dropped the project. But I started releasing music from it. Can't Lose a Soul's on it, but I released that a year ago. So we've been working this project for a minute, man. It's Motivation will be my fourth video from the album. So fourth single, fourth video.
Yeah, Not Today is my joint.
Oh, appreciate that, man.
That's my joint.
Shout out to my homegirl Busina. Foreign exchange, all that. Yeah.
So how often do you drop projects? Or
Not that often.
How many projects released in your career?
My whole thing is, you know what I want to be known as, man? I kind of want to be known. I'm on my Sade of hip hop type shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily, I drop stuff when I feel I should drop stuff. I'm not one of these people that like to manufacture, that runs like a car manufacturer. I'm pumping out projects every couple weeks, every month, or whatever.
It's really not fashionable for you.
To me, as well, what I do, I feel like it devalues my music to be releasing music that much. So I'd rather sit in the cut and make music and wait till there's a relevant time to release that music. So I'm always making music, but I'm not always releasing music. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like I said, before this project, I had been on a hiatus for a while. So I'm really kind of like, this is kind of like a reintroduction of myself to a lot of new fans or whatever. So, I just kind of, I don't feel compelled, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like, oh, I got to come out, everybody drop it, I got to come out with something. I don't feel like that. I really feel like whenever I do release something, it has to be quality. And if it's the next month, like I said, we're about to drop another single that's not on the album, just something that I was motivated to make. For my man Roddy Rod, heard this beat and I was like, oh man, give me that. I need it. Odyssey wound up jumping on it. Substantial wound up jumping on it. And it was just like, yo, I think we should throw this out. It's a good time. And that's it. I kind of go with the flow and listen to the universe. And sometimes, we butt our heads up against the wall thinking that we have to do something a certain way. And then when that door keeps closing, you keep knocking on that door, and then it's like that door is not your door. You know what I'm saying?
You've been signed to a major?
No, I've had offers from majors back in the day, but of course it came with me changing up, doing some shit that I wasn't trying to do. We're looking for this, I would love how you rap, we love your voice, we love, but if you could just, no.
Mm-hmm.
Adjust. I understand completely.
Yeah. Ass just. Take this what it seems. Right?
Mr. Priest, the Nomad, we're coming to that point in the show here where I ask the guests to give me 16 bars of a freestyle. I hope you're not too shy.
Man, I'm nice, dude. I'm sitting here off the bourbon.
Please, let it rip, sir.
I'm sitting off the bourbon, man. I ain't thinking about no rhymes, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah, nah, man. I'm sitting here chilling. And one thing I don't do, because I take the craft seriously, one thing I don't do is mess around when I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because I respect the craft too much. So, I'm just chilling, off a couple medicinals and some bourbon. Friday night's been a long day. Got the kids upstairs. It's been a rough day, man. So yeah, I'm chilling, bro.
Okay, Priest, the Nomad, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for your time. It was,
but definitely check out the YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying, all over the place at Priest the Nomad, PristDaNomad, Instagram at PriestDN on Twitter. So just hit me, blah, blah, blah. We got new music dropping next week. New video next week as well for motivation. So,
yeah, and he's even promised me an exclusive, everybody. So be ready. I'm gonna rock that joint on the when I get live with the playlist for y'all. So
absolutely.
Yes, and he gets
Appreciate
paid
you,
for
man.
those commercials. So do check out the YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Appreciate you stopping through, brother.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for the invite.
God Definitely, bless. Brother. Appreciate you.
Great having you, Priest.
Peace.
No doubt. Peace.
All right, man.
That's Priest the Nomad dialect.
Yeah. And where's our applause machine for that one, man? Another gem dropped, man. I think a lot of people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have to bring their notebooks and pens when they review this again, because there was names said there that I've never heard before in my life.
Oh, yeah. There was some real DC jewels being dropped out like that.
Man, a lot of history, man. A lot of history, for sure.
You can always tell
I
somebody
think I can
from
move to DC now.
Yeah, when they say Maryland, they really from Maryland. You know what I'm saying?
Dave, I think you'd love DC, brother. I think you'd really love it, man. When everything calms down and you want to take a ride out, you're more than welcome to come on down. And you got a place to stay. And we take a ride into the city, man.
That's what's up. Is there prostitution in DC?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
They're called senators and congressmen.
Oh, okay. I'm there.
Diva is like, oh my.
The views expressed by David Simon are not necessarily those of the panel at HipHopCitizen.
But Joe, do you remember when 14th Street used to be wild like that? Back in the days, you guys at Howard, you guys know that place. It was wild out there like that.
7th Street was wild. Georgia Avenue was wild.
Yeah, I remember Georgia Avenue.
Florida Avenue was wild.
Yeah.
And that's just Northwest. You ain't talking about 58. You go out the Southeast. You know what I'm saying? Back out there, east of Capitol Street. You know what I'm saying?
The closest I've been to DC is Baltimore. That's it. I've never stopped.
Yeah, I think you'd appreciate it, Dave. There's a lot of good food. A lot of culture, man. DC's got a lot of culture. I'm not gonna lie. When they started doing that gentrification stuff, if you would have saw the rallies that were popping off in DC, it was amazing. It was beautiful, man. They like literally the go-go band were pulling up with their equipment, like, oh, you trying to shut us out? We're gonna go ahead and play live for you, right in the smack in the middle of the street with thousands.
I saw it on the net.
It was off the hook.
I saw it on that, Architect, but gentrification is happening all over America. America's been gentrified itself. I mean, we talk about what's going on at the borders. It's a gentrification process now.
So, folks, we
only
want
if it's by water. It's got to be by waterways.
We want to thank you guys for sticking with us through the second hour of Friday Night Live. This is Hip Hop Citizen that you're listening to worldwide. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, and we're on YouTube, streaming for you on all social media platforms. We've got Architect 7, Don Juan the Mac, and David Simonism, who is pretty much banned from everything except some Russian websites. And we've got Dialect 718 on the boards. We want to encourage you guys to call in and participate in the discussions. For this second hour, we have some hot topics for you. Like, share, subscribe, and follow. Hit us on the Cash App. You want to leave us a tip, we're at HipHopCitizen on the Cash App. So those are our housekeeping notes. Let's go ahead and dive into some hot topics.
Dum, 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 dum. What's going on, guys?
Well, right off the bat, we want to announce that we're going to be carrying the DMX versus Snoop Dogg versus battle. This was announced a few days ago, and they've decided that since DMX was begging, they'd go ahead and put him up against Snoop. This is going to be East Coast versus West Coast.
Whoa. DMX was what?
Begging. So they put him up against Snoop Dogg, and this is going to be an East Coast versus West Coast. They're going to do their 20 songs.
Not even.
And it's a mismatch, in my opinion.
Yeah, not even. Snoop is worldwide.
Look,
please don't start your Pomeranian bar, the mini poodle barking. Please don't do that.
If it's, I look at it this way. Yes, if we're going like for catalog, yes, Snoop all day. But if we're talking about strategic dropping of tracks, it changes the dynamic. I think we've proved that with our own testing ground, the Jay-Z DMX thing that we did not long ago. But yeah. Catalog for catalog, Snoop Dogg's going to take it every day. But depending on the order of the song, it could change the dynamic of things.
Hey, Alicia says, no way, Architect. Alicia says DMX. And she did some MFs, I think, too. Roof.
Just barking out here.
What we learned from the
Is somebody's Pomeranian loose? What?
Jadakiss and Fabulous battle is, it's all about the music. It can change at any moment. If DMX start out with the great hits, and Snoop Dogg lay back and play some of that Drop It Like It's Hot or Beautiful, I Just Want You to Know.
Stop.
DMX will walk all over him. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about the music selection here. If X starts off rough and Snoop starts off smooth, it could be a wrap.
I mean, it really is strategic now when you do the versus battle. Like Architect said, catalog for catalog, it's Snoop all day. And Snoop has the personality. He's laid back, he's chill, everybody knows him. He's with Martha Stewart these days. She might roll through, who knows? But DMX, I can't say that he's going to be stable enough to be entertaining like Snoop could be.
That's what makes DMX, that's what makes him entertaining.
Please don't, please.
DMX being unstable is what makes him entertaining, though.
I mean, the fact that it's sponsored by Ciroc. Can somebody mute Dave? The fact that it's sponsored by Ciroc. I think aren't both of them supposed to be sober, or DMX at least is supposed to be sober. So and we saw what happened to Jada. You could have tipped him over and he would have fell down. So I don't know if it's a good idea to have everybody just like already 3 sheets to the wind starting the battle.
Snoop hasn't been sober since he was 16 years old. What are you talking about?
I could have sworn he was sober at some point.
And be honest, I don't think I want a sober Snoop.
Oh, you want to know something? There was a point when he said that he was slowing down from smoking marijuana. He took it like a homeboy called him up and said, "Hey, Snoop, you know what? I quit, and my life has changed. I'm feeling good." Snoop said he stopped for 1 year. His wife came to him and said, "You know what? That's a good idea. You should maybe give it a try." Snoop said he gave it a try 1 year, and he said he hasn't stopped smoking since.
Wow.
So, hey.
Well, shit, cutting back for Snoop is like overdosing for somebody else.
That's right.
That's true. We say it to Juan all the time. I think at this point, it would have to be like Snoop all day, because that's who people are going to be tuning in for. He's the one that's always on the gram. He's commenting. He's quote unquote relevant right now.
I just want to ask people, Diva, where are you going to watch it at? Are you going to watch it on HipHopCitizen? Where are you going to watch it at, Architect?
I mean, well, when you say it like that.
Well, I just want to know, where's everybody going to catch the battle at?
Right here on HipHopCitizen, because it'll be the David Simon Show Wednesday night from 8 to 11. And also Dave. My grand day, my birthday, which I hope Dialect will make or recognize it next Friday on birthdays. You understand? I want to see my picture of Dialect
in the hip hop section.
That's right. In the beginning of the show.
In the hip hop legend part.
Absolutely, Diva. Beautiful.
Okay, again. Pit bulls in Western Pennsylvania are howling right now. Will you please stop? Before PETA calls us.
Diva. Listen to that voice. It's so sultry.
No.
It is. Come on,
make somebody's hairs bump up, goosebumps.
Pharrell ain't the only one that can sing here, girl. Let me tell you something.
No, tell it to a music coach at some point. So another item that we have going on with news and gossip, Black Thought has a release coming out. Now, he had a short film to go with his new release, Streams of Thought Volume 3, Cain and Abel. It's going to be released July 31st. He came out with a short film, Thought versus Everybody. And he has a lot of good features that are coming out on this short film. And I like Black Thought. Now, he is an MC.
That's my number one. That's my number one.
I encourage everybody to go out, support this brother. He was announcing it on the gram, and everybody was excited for the short film. He's got a couple of lyric videos, I think, on YouTube. So definitely check out Black Thought. He's got a short film that was released it's Saturday, so Friday. And he's got Stream of Thought Volume 3. And I know he's on everybody's list.
It's Black Thought featuring his beard. No.
Featuring that beard.
Black Thought?
Everybody's got Black Thought on their list.
No.
He's number one.
Did I spell it wrong? It's Black Thought.
Yeah, it's Black Thought, but everybody's calling him Black Dot for some reason.
Nah, I don't think that you're the only person I heard say that.
Yeah.
I guess it's my hearing.
Yeah. So I was excited to see that because he's a great lyricist. I came onto him late with Things Fall Apart, and I've just always enjoyed the Roots as a group and him as an MC. I
don't know who Elisa Lee is, but my ears are on.
What did Elisa say? I don't have the chat closed right now.
He said to sing beautiful.
Ah, yeah.
I want you to know.
Damn.
God.
I
bet this time, HipHopCitizen would like to apologize to all the pet owners.
I'll do an experiment for you. I will take a Q-tip. I will put them in both of my ears, and let's see what kind of dirt comes out of it, dear. How about that? You want to do that experiment?
Do that on your show.
Yeah, do that on your show.
Right now. We can do it right now. Let's do it. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Who wants to see how dirty my...
I do. Let's see it.
Why are you encouraging him?
1 second. I'll be right back.
No. Come on.
All right.
Why do you even entertain this bullshit? What is wrong with you? You know you put 5 cents in him and he is off to the races. What is wrong with you?
Keep going.
Yeah, but
so I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back.
No.
Here we go. Here's the Q-tip.
Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for this.
Let's go, Dave. Let's see what your hygiene is like.
Let's go.
Let's see what your hygiene.
That's one.
No. Oh, God.
Let's see.
Oh.
Look at that.
Who asked for this? Who in the chat asked for this?
Let's try the other ear. How about that?
No. Get the hook. I wish we were at the Apollo. Call Sandman. Get the hook.
It's practically still white, ladies and gentlemen. Practically still white.
I think our numbers are going down.
Okay, now I'm going to shove it up my ass. Let's see.
No. Okay. Zuckerberg, pull it.
That's why your ass got banned from Instagram and Twitter.
Right there. Right there.
I was displaying other people's talents and their intellectual product. This here is my intellectual product. And then I was going to show you what other intellectual products I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
and you can
act
catch his
of David
intellectual
Simon
products
is
on Wednesday nights.
That's what I call IP.
You're grossing out the viewers. We're losing shit. We want to apologize to our listeners in Colombia, Eliseo and Freddie. We're so sorry. This is not American humor at its best. We want to thank everybody that's in the chat right now, rocking with us through the great interview that we had with Priest the Nomad. The guys always do a great job. Will you stop it? Thank you, Dialect. And we want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. We are going to be streaming the Versus Battle for you guys. We are your official bootleg Versus station, so be sure to check us out on Wednesday at 8 p.m. We'll do a little pre-show. We'll do an after show to see what everybody's score is. So we're looking forward to that. So which one should we get into first? Should we get into Nick Cannon or Meg Thee Stallion?
Nick Cannon or Meg Thee Stallion? Whoa.
Meg.
Let's get Meg out of the way. So
yeah, because you know the Nick one's going to be a conversation.
Wow. Oh, that's going to be a long one. So we encourage everybody to call in. The links are pinned in the chats. We have them going across the screen. We definitely want this to be a participatory discussion. I'm like freaked out right now.
Wow. That was impressive, Diva.
Megan Thee Stallion is in the news because I think it wasn't over the weekend, was it? But in the past few days, the story breaks down that she was chilling with Kylie Jenner. I want you to keep that in mind because it's always one of them. She was hanging with Kylie Jenner in a pool and she went live. And Kylie Jenner's next to her thinking it's just a photo. So she's doing, the fish lips and saying hi. She went live, and when Kylie realized she was live, she kind of slid out and left her elbow in the photo. And then Tory Lanez, nobody asked, came running up to be in the photo too. Somebody off camera said, "Hey, da da da," and she went off live. Next thing we know, police are being called out to the house saying there were shots fired. So when the police get there, somebody's SUV tries to take off. So of course the police chase them because it's LA County, and they catch up with them. And there's been a clip of it going around. I don't know if Dialect has it, but I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. The police have them pulled over, guns out, get out the car, walk towards me, backwards, on the ground. So Tory was not naked. Right. And Meg was in a bodycon dress. Kelsey was the one that was in her high waist panties and a strapless top. And they made them all get on the ground, everything. Well, when Meg gets out the car, you can see that she's limping and she's leaving like bloody prints while she's trying to walk backwards. So the police take her to the hospital for medical attention. And it turns out that she had surgery to get the bullet removed from her foot. So the story that's going on right now is that she had her injuries attended to, but did not press charges. But the police arrested Tory Lanez, who was in the vehicle with a loaded weapon, for felony possession of that weapon.
Didn't he say he was defending her though, or some shit, protecting her?
No, that's what we're gonna get to. So, $35,000 bond. He made his bond, but since then, the DA has upped the charge to from assault to a felony possession, and they're thinking about adding more charges as we go. And what happened over Instagram is that Megan put out her statement that she was intentionally harmed. Then everybody started going after her best friend Kelsey because they thought Kelsey was getting into kind of a best friend argument with her. Don't know where anybody got that from. So people were blaming Kelsey for hurting her. So then Kelsey had to come on, who are her best friend, and defend herself. Then the memes started. And professional troll 50 Cent started in on her. So then she went to Instagram again and Twitter. It was saying, "I'm hurt. That y'all would think this is funny. This has changed my life. I'm lucky to be alive here. And you guys are just making memes and things are funny on the internet till it happens to you." So she's in her feelings.
Why do famous people think that that's not going to happen? It's beyond me anyway.
So right now, there are no other statements. They're saying that they think that because she was rolling with Roc Nation, she was targeted, because now the speculation has started. And one of her producers or one of her people put a statement out on Twitter to Tory Lanez saying, "Count your days." So now they're saying Tory Lanez is being threatened. and that Rock Nation might be backing up the person doing the threats. Then her former stylist and makeup artist decided to be messy on Instagram and say she's not around real folks, and I'll say folks, and she ain't got the right folks around here. When I was around her, I was being real with her, but now she got those fake folks around her, so I don't know. So he was being a messy queen.
I'm not buying label beef though. I don't think it's a label beef. I think
they're saying that ever since she went to Rock Nation, she's had more trouble than when she was with her old label. And now the speculation is swirling, especially with Kylie Jenner, because everybody's like, where'd she go? Because everybody's like leaving her out of the story, and it's quiet as kept. But I haven't forgot. Where was she? Like, where'd she go that quick?
So
and the black people are down.
You think Kylie put the hit out on her?
I think like Kylie made something messy happen, and Tori and Meg were arguing in the car, and who knows what happened then. Some people are saying that Tori had the gun on him. They were arguing. She might have slapped him up, and he pulled it, and people gun safety. He had his finger on the trigger and like shot her by mistake.
I think the tweet was that intentionally. She said that she was intentionally.
She said intentionally try to harm me. So she thinks when he pulled the gun, that's what happened. Other people are saying that Megan had the gun, went to shoot and shot herself.
Is she defending Tori?
That's what other people are saying. Like she's trying to like protect him. But the fact that she's saying intentionally harmed leads me to believe she wants people to dig further. Now here's the thing. LAPD arrested him, but nobody's cooperating with their investigation. And she hasn't pressed charges because the LAPD put out a statement and said, we haven't heard from her. Like, we don't know if she wants to press charges or not. We're doing it.
So he shot her in the big toe?
Guys.
Hey, it reminds me of Harlem Nights. You shot my pinky toe.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I
said it out of your system.
It doesn't make any sense, Alyssa. Exactly. It just all sounds crazy.
Little strange fact, though. Cash Doll, or one of the dolls, I'm sorry, Dream Doll, one of the doll girls said that Tory Lanez sucked their toes through her socks. You think
what does that got to do with this?
Well, I think Tory loves feet. I think he always aims for the feet.
Again, what does that have to do with this? Like, you always come out with this out of the left field stuff. It's your fetish. No kink shaming, but
I didn't say Tory shot her from the booster seat.
Hey, Juan, you talk about ankles and feet a lot, bro.
I think you're projecting. Like you got a thing for below the ankle. See, so Hot Girl Meg is saying that this is the other thing that she said about being made fun of. She said black women are so unprotected. Way to invoke another community, and we hold so many things in to protect the feelings of others without considering our own. That's true. It might be funny to y'all on the internet and just another messy topic for you to talk about, but this is my real life, and I'm real life hurt and traumatized. I have a problem with this. Because first of all, you trying to make it about you while also folding other black women into this. We weren't rolling with Tory Lanez and got shot in the foot. So don't invoke us. And
that's manipulation. That's manipulation. She's manipulating.
You. That's classic manipulation. Then two, she's talking about she's so hurt in real life. It was always real life. You were kikiing on the internet. If it happened to Kylie, you'd be like, so yeah, it's gonna get you too. So nah, I'm not buying it. Not even on sale. She knows that she messed up. She's always trying to rock with everybody. That's something somebody else said on another commentary channel. Shout out to Lovely TTV. She said she's always trying to rock with everybody. I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with this person. I took a picture with Blue Ivy Carter. Be careful who you're around. Yeah. Like, be careful whose energy you absorb, because look at what you did. Look at what happened to you. You can't always have everybody around you.
Yeah, I completely agree there, Diva.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Caitlyn Jenner may have had something to do with that.
Where did you get Caitlyn Jenner from? You and Juan.
Well, listen, Elisa says that she's having issues with those men in that industry. I agree. You think about Moneybagg Yo, G-Eazy. I mean, there's a lot of guys going on in Meg's life in the last couple months.
But, yeah, she's had popping. Was that Yeah, Lizzo hangs out with Harry Styles. Yeah, I think that was her. G-Eazy. She had Moneybagg Yo to begin with. She doesn't have a lot of discernment, and I'm starting to realize that with her. She's not using a lot of discernment in the way she's running. And a lot of people are also attributing it to like Kanye syndrome. When you lose your mother, you kind of go off the rails, especially since if that was the closest person to you. And her mother helped her get into the industry, was with her for contract signings and things like that. So a lot of people are saying without her mother's guidance, this is what's happening.
All right. So how old is she?
She's in her mid-20s.
So 28, 27.
Yeah. So
she's not that old. Well, she's like 25, 26.
So you're expecting a whole lot from a kid in an industry that is flooded with. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's think about it. At 25, what the hell was you thinking? Now put a few million and a shit ton of cameras in front of you, and then tell me what you know what I'm saying? And the crowd that you was around, and like just add it all up, awesome. You know? Yeah.
That would have been awesome. My thing is, now this is what we were talking about before when she had her contract thing going on. You may be young, but you're not a kid. You're not 17. You're not like Mandy Moore young. You were in your 20s bragging about your degree. You went to college, all this other bullshit. Now all of a sudden you didn't understand your contract. You didn't know that you were 7 albums deep. You didn't know this and that. Okay. Personal accountability.
Hey, going to college and dealing with a bunch of swindlers is 2 different damn things.
That's why you surround yourself with the right people. You can't have.
You can study as many books as you want. They don't prepare you for what the street's going to throw at you.
I'm sorry, but you also have to be careful, like I said, about the people you have around you. Cousin Pookie took criminal justice and John Jay is not the person to look over your contracts in the music industry.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, they got to learn that.
The hard way. So here we are.
I mean, that's just classic stuff. You think about it. Let's think about Jay and the whole Rockefeller movement and how that went down. You got a homeboy running the whole operation, and then the shit hit the fan, and then you know what I'm saying? It's like,
but that's because Dame and Jay wanted different things, and Jay took his ball and left.
Well, we're witnessing what you're witnessing is growth on camera. That's what you're witnessing. You're witnessing young, very young adults making decisions in an industry full of swindlers and in front of cameras. So what do you think it's going to be? It's going to be what you see.
I think you don't have to end up shot in the foot.
I agree. I'm not saying that everybody needs to get shot in the foot.
Hey, listen.
I don't think I need to be shot in the foot to understand that I don't need to be around certain people. So that's where I'm coming from with it.
I'm just saying at my age, I'm not trying to rationalize any 20 to 25-year-old's thoughts in an industry full of swindlers and in front of cameras. There's no way that I can.
And I just want to get this out. Tory Lanez told Joe Budden he does not trick. So, you know what I'm saying? And I believe he mean it. And I think if anyone tried him, he might shoot you in the foot.
So our next topic that we're moving into is going to be revolving around Nick Cannon. Oh, before we even do that, because Nick Cannon we're saving, so everybody stick with us and get ready for your questions to call in. T.I. believes East Coast bias is the only reason 50 Cent is bigger than Nelly. Go.
I can kind of agree with him, but I mean, no, just 50 Cent. 50 Cent's still doing his thing. So that just speaks for itself.
You go to Arizona.
But what is 50's thing these days? What is his thing? It's not music.
I mean, you know how many shows he's producing, and he's making big money.
Yeah, he's made a million. He's made himself a millionaire over and over again.
So he's paid off his bankruptcy, is what you're telling me?
You know what that is? That bankruptcy, he's hiding money with that one.
Yeah,
he's definitely hiding money.
He's doing one.
So Dialect, what do you think? Because I know you're a big hip hop head, and I'm East Coast all day because this is where it started. It's authentic. Stamp of approval from the East Coast. But what say you?
I don't think it has anything to do with a bias. I think he was signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre. I think that was also part of the reason why he was so big. Because at the time when 50 Cent came out, East Coast artists weren't really, they weren't really selling like they used to. It was pretty much dominated by the South and the West Coast. So I don't think it had anything to do with East Coast bias. I just think it had more to do with him having good music, one, and him being backed by Eminem and Dr. Dre.
That's right.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 50 Cent coming out in the era of, the All-Star label guy, right? You sign somebody and then they go on to sell Diamond I think Eminem was Dre's protege, and 50 was M's protege.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were creating a legacy label, and all your team were all supposed to be hitters, and it was that era of it, and that's what established it. So for 50 to come out and do as well as he did was just a great team behind him. With Nelly, it was him and his boys in the Midwest, and you can't say that you had like hot producers and great studios in that part of St. Louis or whatever. If you're from that hood, you could probably point them out. But you were dealing with big labels in other areas, so maybe he wasn't going to be as big.
And then too, hip hop too was going through that like hardcore gangster image, and 50's story was like the realest you can get. You know what I'm saying? Shot 9 times, survived an assassination attempt, bullet in the face. You know what I'm saying? And still lived. I mean, that story alone would just make you blow up. You know what I'm saying? And at the time, the biggest East Coast artist before 50 came out was Ja Rule. And he pretty much ended the guy's career. You know what I'm saying? Just because that was like his arch nemesis. So I think it had more to do than just being an East Coast bias.
But Nelly had a tattoo. He had a Band-Aid on his eye because of a memory loss of a friend. That don't count for anything?
Architect.
What?
I have no clue.
The Midwest people know what that is. You know what I'm saying? He had the Band-Aid under his eye.
50 was shot 9 times and survived.
Pretty much.
And Nelly was looking at his contract and got a paper cut by accident because he grabbed the paper too fast. And you're trying to equal that up, man. Come on now.
Yeah, that's your friend that said that. I mean, at this point, it's again, people are mismatching the wrong MCs and the wrong rappers. And it's not about an East Coast bias. It's about who had the right backing and who was good. And at the time he came out, 50 was good. And his sound completely changed after he got shot, because I remember the mixtapes he was doing before that one single he had, and then How to Rob, and he sounded completely different after he got shot. He had, work on his jaw. He had a completely different sound, and it worked.
Yeah, that was a banger though, underground banger.
Yeah, I mean that was him getting shot 9 times was his promotional tool.
And then also the East Coast bias that was over, like I think in like '96, after the whole East Coast West Coast beef.
I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm guilty a little bit of that. I'm not even gonna try to front.
No, I would put it ending in '98, really. Because when did the Source Awards?
I'm in Texas.
Now it was earlier than that, because when I think Tupac came out with California Love, that's when everything started to like, and they had the Source Awards in New York, and
that's what I'm saying. When did the Source Awards happen with Snoop standing on stage talking about?
Correct, that was 95, 96. So that's when it ended, because everybody that saw Outkast get booed and they saw Snoop get booed, they was like, "Oh, what? New York is like that? Fuck them."
Yeah.
The East Coast bias ended after that.
It didn't end. Okay. I mean, like I said, New York people don't. I mean, New York musicians are not getting love, like I say, in Texas. I mean, other than maybe a Cardi, but she has a appeal here in Texas. You got the Latino.
I mean, Elisa has a point in the chat. She's like, every gang was banging with 50 because of the street cred. So they rocked his joints, and he played that out as far as he could.
Well, not only that, but if you listen to the beats just had that edge. Like when you if you talk about Nelly and 50, Nelly was definitely like, "Oh, put your drink down and go hit the dance floor."
Right.
And not to say that 50's wasn't, but 50's was more like, punch you in the face and flip table type beats.
It's your birthday. Go ahead, girl. It's your birthday. You crazy?
The beats definitely. I mean, if he didn't have Dre, maybe that would have made a difference. If Dre had got behind Nelly, maybe that would have made a difference. But I definitely give more credit to producers than I do to the people out front.
I would venture to say that there were more fights in clubs with 50 songs than there was Nelly songs.
Yeah, also like 50 kind of lived what he rapped about. You know what I'm saying? It's like during that time you didn't see too many MCs that lived what they rapped about. So you got 50 and Jay, they live what they rap about. And I think that's why they had success, because they sounded more comfortable saying what they said. You know what I'm saying? And you actually rocked with them.
Idiomatic music agrees, Dialect. I'll shout up to Twitch.
I mean, I think if Nelly had it's like Dialect said one time, if Nelly had come out and was trying to be hard and talk about the streets of St. Louis after Hot in Here, nobody would have took him seriously. But because 50 and Jay and their ilk stayed consistent, and this is who they were until I guess they grew up and became men about it, it worked. So Nelly had to stay in his lane. He had party bangers. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that T.I. is just trying to be relevant right now.
Are you saying Nelly was the male Missy?
And then also you look at 50 Cent had that LL Cool J thing too. You know what I'm saying? Like the ladies like 50. You know what I'm saying? So like that'll help
for
you
good reason.
Yeah. So 50 just had like everything that you needed to be.
Know.
What's that?
What?
He said for good reason. I said, but don't let Vivica know what that reason.
Yeah,
Look, Vivica was caught. Her nose was open too. She admitted it at some point. He came out at MTV Spring Break looking all jail swole in a custom made wife beater, and everybody perked up. When he was doing those upside down crunches, I was like, okay, let me hear the rest of this song.
Yeah, it was like catnip.
Go Shorty. He was talking to us. He wasn't talking to y'all. He was like, go Shorty. I'm like,
okay. He had joints for the girls and he had joints for the dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Especially when he came together with G Unit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when G Unit came together and then he added Lloyd Banks.
Where's Dave?
Oh, yeah. Dave said he's done for the night.
No, I was
he's
saying
done?
That's Dave's a man, Lloyd Banks.
Yeah.
Lloyd Banks? Oh, yeah. Lloyd was good. He had flow. I don't know why he couldn't get on.
Because, 50 said none of them had work ethic.
I think they didn't want to jump on the social media thing. They didn't want to like be on social media every day. And 50 was telling them that's what they need to do to stay relevant. And Lloyd Banks, I'm not doing that, and I think Tony Yayo said the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Young Buck is on social media for totally different reasons. You know what I'm saying? But like they just didn't want to do it. And 50, like, he's on social media every day and he's still relevant,
I can't deny his work ethic. No matter what he's turned into, I can't deny that he was always grinding. So I guess that's the difference. He was surrounded by people that weren't on, at his speed when it came to wanting to get
He's
bigger
making TV
and better.
producer money. He ain't worried about that shit.
Ooh,
so yeah, he's got cognac to promote, all that kind of thing. He's got women to harass. I mean, and he's got a busy schedule.
Yeah,
I agree. Idiomatic.
You a genius whack?
No, he said
there was a point. Well, look, they went through his phases, right? I think when they lost Game, I thought G Unit was whack. That's just my opinion.
They had Mobb Deep on G Unit. Don't forget, they had
he's saying the group itself, the original, not the label, but the group. The initial crew that he built.
The initial
that's where it's coming from. Yeah, you can't deny Mobb Deep. I mean, come on now.
You can't go wrong with them.
I don't remember anything that came out of that Mobb Deep collab except for that. I forgot that one. They had one joint that was a banger, but I don't remember much.
Elisa, I remember the Smart Water deal. I think that's where he really jumped off business wise. He had a Smart Water deal. I used to love that Smart Water, and they took it away. It was delicious.
You mean the penny water? We should call them penny water or quarter water.
No, it was the Smart Water. It's like $1.49 now.
Vitamin water.
Vitamin water, that's what it was.
Right.
It started out as vitamin water, now it's Smart Water in the big liters. Elisa's right. That was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And they took it, but that was the first.
Damn water. It was bathtub water.
It was grape flavor. Shut up. So,
grape flavor. That was the first. Water.
I mean, it was just watered down Kool-Aid.
Shut up.
It was watered down Kool-Aid. That's all that was.
First of all, it had vitamins in it. So I think that was the first big business deal I heard 50 do, and he kind of just like parlayed it. So he was about his business. I guess maybe the people around him weren't.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said they weren't trying to push, they were trying to lean on him.
Yeah.
T.I. has no business calling out anybody at this point. He needs to just go raise his kids, be faithful to his wife, and sit down somewhere. He's not getting a battle.
Yeah.
Expeditiously.
I defy him to spell it to this day. Okay, guys. So this is the one we've all been waiting for. Nick Cannon.
Man.
Where do you want to start?
I just want to say.
What got him booted?
Go ahead, Architect.
I just want to say, like, he had me when he was like, you can't fire a boss. I was like, here we go. Like, somebody's finally standing up. Then, like, a day later, he's like, I just want to apologize. I'm like, come on, man. Somebody stand up.
I mean, stand 10 toes down, and what you said, what you said, and that's that.
Just cut the shit. If you're going to stand by it, man.
Yeah, so for anybody that may not know, which I don't know how you don't know by now, Nick Cannon of Nickelodeon and Wildin' Out fame. He was also on AGT, and he currently hosts The Masked Singer, which he still has. was interviewing Professor Griff of Public Enemy fame. He's, old hip hop legend. And they were having a discussion on his podcast. What is it called? Cannon's Corner. And when you bring Professor Griff in,
right? I thought it was Cannon's
Classroom.
Is it Classroom?
Some shit like that, yeah.
Thank you. So he came in. There. And Professor Griff, when you bring him in, you better be ready. He is going to go deep. He's going to go esoteric. He gets a little hotep. So you've really got to be on point. So Nick Cannon, for some reason, I guess he Googled a couple of Wikipedia articles and was excited. And he wanted to jump in and have this big discussion with Professor Griff. And it kind of went left. Because first of all, when you look in the comments on the YouTube video that is now pulled, but somebody somewhere has it, people were saying, why don't you let him finish a sentence, Juan? Why don't you let him get through his question and then let him answer you? And Nick was just jumping all over Professor Griff. So Griff was being patient with him. He's just
Hold up, they pulled the video?
Yeah.
They said it was. They said it was
some bullshit.
They said it was.
You two pulled it.
They said it was hate speech.
Yep.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, be careful, Dwayne Wade.
So he came in and was saying, his usual Professor Griff thing, that you've got to think deeply about your heritage. What does this mean? What does that mean? And Nick Cannon decided he was going to jump in and wanted to sound, Hotep too. And he started in on this line of thinking. And like I said, I'm going to paraphrase it, where he was saying, well, you know what? When you look at the history of who's been savages in this world, it's not anybody with melanated skin. Melanated people are compassionate. Those without melanin are not. They were up in the Caucasus Mountains with no melanin acting like savages. So when they circumvented the globe, they had to come in and take what they saw as already being better than them. So that's why you have to think about how they came in. Okay. So he said all that. And as soon as he dropped, white people are not compassionate because they have no melanin, somebody should have stopped tape right there. But he went on to include the Jews and media and everything else in that video. So after those comments, Viacom jumped in. Now, Viacom is one of the big 6 media companies. They run MTV, they run VH1, they have their fingers in every pie. They jumped in and cut Wildin' Out expeditiously. So that's the first thing they did. Then when he was dropped, that's where Architect is saying, Nick was like, you can't fire me, I quit. Or you can't fire me, I'm a boss. And he
created all of it.
He had this big response, right? So then Viacom said, oh, really? So they went behind the scenes and did some random stuff that we're speculating about. And in the middle of all this, Diddy reached out. So, Nick's getting piled on. The white people are incensed. They've got the pitchforks and torches. And Diddy's holding his hand out come with me if you want to live. He offered up Revolt TV. And he's like, you can come over to me if you want to.
Who's owned by who?
Right. Come on, Viacom's laughing.
That part. Okay, so it's not like Diddy has his own platform either. So, Nick's beating his chest. You can't, I'm 10 toes down. You ain't going to intimidate me, blah, blah. And all the hoteps were behind him with the Black Power fist. Yeah, brother, we got your back.
How much of this you think is just political expediency for Viacom? I mean, we're in a situation here where a lot, the fans are just not there anymore. How much is this just an opportunity to get rid of an expensive Nick Cannon off the contract, off the books?
I don't see where, if you can tell me the Nielsen ratings, I can give you a better answer. Where has there been a dip?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would think the MTV may be hurt. Now, all I see is on that show is his show.
I find it funny. I find it funny, Juan, you don't have those numbers.
Yeah, I'm a little perturbed.
And charts and stuff about Nielsen.
Are you sure you don't have a PowerPoint ready?
Oh well, no. I just think everyone knows Nick is running Viacom's MTV division right now.
You're right.
I mean,
yeah. They have 6 hours of Wildin' Out marathons. It does get tedious because I don't watch it, but that's all I see when I'm scrolling.
It'd be Wildin' Out, ridiculousness, and reruns of Catfish.
The Catfish.
Right. He said Catfish.
my super, not Sweet 16, but Teen Mom. That's all.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
And you guys know where I come from with all this, but I think it was the perfect time with everything that's been going on, right? Everything being what it is, this was the perfect time for somebody in that realm to be able to voice exactly how they feel and let that wave hit, because this, in my opinion, I believe the support would have come. It may not come from the superstars, but it's going to come from the boots on the ground. After everything that we've seen and witnessed, the rioting and all the craziness that we've been going through, the timing could not have been more perfect to have a leader or somebody of that nature that's going to say, all right, fuck it, enough's enough. You know, the history of Viacom alone, being a hip hop head, if you just go back like the Ted Demis and all those guys from back in Yo MTV Raps and all that, but they've been stealing and ripping people off. So it's the perfect time. And then he turns around and does that. And I'm just like, I woke up the next morning and I think it was Dialect and Dave was like, the apology tour is about to come. And lo and behold, man, the apology tour. I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, I wanted to be able to talk shit too.
You know what it is? Nick just fell victim to like what I see a lot of people falling victim to since 2007 or 2006 when YouTube came out. People listen to little 8-minute, 3-minute snippets of little conspiracy theories and all of this stuff, and they just kind of regurgitate what they hear without actually doing the research. When I heard Nick speaking, I was like, oh my God, you know, he's all over the place. But I was like, you know, it's Nick Cannon, nothing's gonna happen to him. You know, he's America's sweetheart. They're just gonna be like, oh, Nick, you know, chill. But then, you know, he winds up getting dropped from Viacom, rightfully so. But I just think that's the problem with people today. They think they're woke. You know, they instead of saying overstand, they like to say understand. They say overstand. You know, those type of folks.
Yeah,
and that you know, that's Nick. You know what I'm saying? It's not anybody that you take seriously. I'm just like, you know, he's just running off at the mouth. You know,
he's a goofball.
Correct. Doesn't have
that's his persona. Yeah.
What he's saying. And my thing is, if you're an interviewer, you let Professor Griff do the talking, and you ask the questions. You know what I'm saying? And you just fall back.
Right. Lead him to what you want to be said.
At least he got employees. Shouldn't he have some responsibility? If you have employees, should he have a moral conscience?
That's what I'm saying in terms of everything. The overarching thing this looks like to me is self-centeredness, because he really thought he was doing something. He really thought he was dropping gems. He really thought he was dropping knowledge, talking about melanated, you know, who's melanated, but we're compassionate. And he had little bits of truth, like little strings of truth in there. It's like, yes, when, you know, they circumvented the globe, they discovered areas and took them over and ravaged the resources. That part's true. But for you to say they're up in the caves being savages and that's what makes them savages today. Okay, we don't like that being said about us. So why are you saying it about them? Like, where do you get off doing that? And then the overarching thing for me is, yes, he has employees. He was a brand.
Yeah, so now but he didn't get shot 9 times.
For you to come out and say, okay, this is what I'm going to say, just make it, you know, call an audible. You got makeup artists, you've got the set designers, you've got directors and grips out of work now because you decided you were going to try to be esoterical.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Nick Cannon just 3 years ago was a comedian.
Thank you.
Now all of a sudden he turned into Charlie Rose. You
know, as soon as he put that turban on,
yeah, it's like
he's kind of done it all, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
Drumline, and
he did Drumline. He did the remake of You Can't Buy Love.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You know, he had a clothing line at one point.
They were like, "How dare you? How dare you run off the plantation?" Yeah.
He did Nickelodeon. He did NBC. He did Kim Kardashian. He did Fox News. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not Fox,
right?
The Fox Network. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of.
He was on Fox, yeah. So he had his bag secure, and all he had to do was just like. There's certain conversations like this where you talk about it at the table. This is dinner table talk. This is amongst us talk. You don't talk like that in mixed company. And I know some older heads may know what that means. You don't talk like that in mixed company. So when you start mouthing off with no real facts or like firmness behind it, for somebody to easily come in and just rip you out and rip you a new one, you shouldn't have been talking like that in the first place.
They were like, you biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, man. Normally, I have to agree with Viacom, man. Nick needed to apologize. I just think he was wrong. You know,
I think he should have just clarified. Like, if he was going to stand in it, stand 10 toes down. You said it out your mouth. You meant it when you said it. Stand on it.
I don't know.
It's it's one of them things, right? I'd rather know who you are than you bullshit me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So like in any environment, let's say for instance, in a work environment, let's say you got a supervisor that's an ass. He's an asshole, right? I work better with people that just show who they are than the people that you can just tell are absolutely fake. Like, just give me the real you. Like, I could deal with it.
Dialect, you find his other tweets where he was like standing 10 toes down and everything?
No, I didn't have those, but
You didn't have those? Because this is this is hobo apology.
Yeah.
Where for our listeners, he was saying, first and foremost, I extend my deepest and most sincere apologies to my Jewish sisters and brothers for the hurtful and divisive words that came out of my mouth during my interview with Richard Griffin.
Called him out his government.
That's how you know he didn't write it.
We said, who's Richard?
Called him out his government name, Professor Griff. Come on, Nikki.
Everybody knows him as Professor Griff.
They're going for it.
They reinforce the worst stereotypes of a proud and magnificent people. And I feel ashamed of the uninformed and naive place that these words came from. The video of this interview has since been removed.
Because, Lord, they took my money.
Nah, but he's right, though. What he's saying here is right, though. It was misinformed what he said.
While the Jewish experience encompasses more than 5,000 years, and there is so much I have yet to learn, I have had at least a minor history lesson over the past few days, and to say that it is eye-opening would be a vast understatement.
Yeah, he didn't write that. Juan wrote that.
I want to express my gratitude to the rabbis, community leaders, and institutions who reached out to me to help enlighten me instead of chastising me.
You know how they enlighten them? They said, look, you either take that interview down or you're going to die of COVID mysteriously. That's what they said.
I want to assure my Jewish friends, new and old, that this is only the beginning of my education. Are they playing the violins yet? I am committed to deeper connections, more profound learning, and strengthening the bond between our two cultures today and every day going forward.
All right, somebody needs to clarify what was said, though, because I mean, I'm getting lost in the sauce here with all these apologies. The apologies are actually bigger than whatever he was said. So what I can tell,
I just had the blessed opportunity to converse with Rabbi Abraham Cooper, Director of Global Social Action at Simon Wiesenthal. My first words to my brother was, I apologize for the hurt I caused the Jewish community. This is all still July 15th. On my podcast, I used words and reference literature I assumed to be factual to uplift my community. Instead, turned out to be hateful propaganda and stereotypical rhetoric that pained another community. Where's the punctuation? For this, I am deeply sorry, but now together we can write a new chapter of healing.
Yeah, and this is the next tweet that really got me. This was today.
So today, Nick Cannon is, let's preface this. So Nick Cannon's mad now because at first he thought all the hoteps and everybody was going to, lay in line behind him. Everybody was going to have his back. And let's also say that Dwayne Wade, nobody was looking for him, came out first and said, we got your back. We going to have your back at 12:42 p.m. By 4:32 p.m. the same day, he did an about face. Well, I didn't know what Nick said. I'm sorry. I didn't realize he had used hurtful rhetoric. So that was the only dude that even touched Nick Cannon. So then he expected the black community as a monolith to come out and support him and put him on their shoulders. So this is what Nick Cannon had to say when he realized we weren't here for it. Y'all can have this planet. I'm out. I hurt an entire community and it pained me to my core. I thought it couldn't get any worse. Then I watched my own community turn on me and call me a sellout for apologizing. Good night. Enjoy Earth.
Yeah, that tweet, that was, he didn't really need to.
I'm telling you, they called him up. They said, if you do not remove that interview and apologize, you shall be stricken.
And then too, when he says that, it's like,
why you gotta say stricken?
You're gonna be stricken with the 19. We gonna give it to you.
I don't know why that tickled me.
Then he apologized.
Go ahead, Dialect.
He apologizes for making negative stereotypes about the Jewish community, then pushes one about the black community, which is that, we are our own worst enemy. He could have just left that alone because there's in the internet, there's always trolls. You know what I'm saying? Right. Somebody's going to come and troll you. Somebody's going to call you a sellout. People are going to call you a racist. People are going to say you're lying, you're not sincere. those things are gonna come.
I think in the black community, in the black community, I think it's expected that you say what you mean. It's not backtrack.
That part, like everybody's tired of the moonwalking and backpedaling. Now that's what everybody's tired of.
Well,
so,
and it's prime time. It's like, again, it goes back to everything that we've been witnessing in this time, in the past few months, and everything that's kind of bubbled up over. That could have been a moment that you brought people together and been like, yeah, and now let's speak on that. You know what I'm saying? While we're peeling back the onion, let's continue to do so. But then he's like, well, I'm going to peel back the onion. No, let's put that back together. They're going to take my money. They're going to get me with the 19.
The thing about that is there's a kernel of truth in every stereotype. Let's just start there. So when he was starting to talk about, and Professor Griffiths touched on this too, when he was talking about Jewish influence on media and Hollywood, everybody kind of knows that he had us right there. So he started here, and everybody's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, the Coens and the Iovines and everything like that.
And white supremacists been saying that for years. That same exact thing.
So, he could have started here, but then for some reason he went from here all the way up, like, Fat Joe, all the way up. He went from 0 to 60. If he had just titrated himself, which means built up, and just said, you know what, I think people should look at how they're consuming media. I think he should have pointed it out. Like, I think people should look at Fox. I think you should look at the history of Universal Studios. If he had done that and made other people look for it instead of trying to say it himself and be that leader, maybe it would have worked out better. Like Architect said, this could have opened up a whole new dialogue about the influence in the media.
Because listen, Hollywood's been under fire for the past few years in terms of the roles and how the awards have been given out, like music. I mean, that whole industry has been getting nailed for basically what they were discussing. You know what I'm saying? About them monopolizing the industry as a whole. So the conversation isn't new that they were having. People are acting like the shit is new. It's not new.
No, they've been pointing out Jewish influence, and I'm saying it that way because it's true. It's Jewish influence. The Jewish community went out to Hollywood in LA in the early 30s. Talking Pictures had just started, and they established and put a foothold in the movie industry, music industry. They had distribution. They owned the studios. They owned, they brought in the actors. It's absolutely true. You can look it up. It's no problem. But what he should have done was put it that way. Do your research, check it out for yourself, do a deep dive. He did not have to go off the rails like he did and try to act like he was an anthropologist or something. Like, yeah, they were in the Caucasus Mountains, eating mushrooms in caves, and that's why they're not compassionate. Huh?
Yeah, he kind of sounded like the In Living Color character. Oswald.
I wish you could have found a video clip.
It's a conspiracy. A
C-O-N conspiracy to keep us down.
Being where I come from, it's like coming out of Brooklyn, it's like you walk outside, there's so many different groups that could pull you. You got the 5%ers, you got the Hebrew Israelites, you got the Nation of Islam, you got regular Muslims. It's like you got everybody pulling you with all of this information. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I hear that type of conversation all the time, and I'll tell people, okay, sounds good. Where's your proof? I like to read books. I like to do the research for myself. I don't like to just agree with everything somebody tells me.
You're right.
Which is what I think. I think, when he was saying, oh, we're the real Semitic people, I don't even think he probably read a book on that. He probably just heard it in a video. I doubt
that's what I'm saying.
That,
I could Google it, and I looked it up, and I was still just as confused because I'm like, okay, you're saying Semitic means peoples of the Afro-Asiatic peninsula that involved. When you look at the map, it's basically Qatar and Oman over to Eritrea and Ethiopia. So they're talking about that little scoop is where Semitic people came from. And I'm like,
maybe Nick read it from Professor Griff's books.
Oh yeah, dialect. Tell him about Professor Griff's book.
Yeah, I mean, I said this yesterday. I bought one of his books, but it was the books were kind of like how he speaks. It was a lot of printouts, newspaper clippings. You know what I'm saying? Transcripts from his interviews. So it was like a plethora of stuff just thrown in there. So it wasn't it was anything broken down into chapters or he had a publisher do it or anything anything like that. So it was just a lot of information to take in, but you know, I find like it didn't have a lot of structure. And it's no knock to him, but you know, I find it could have been a little bit more structured. That's all.
So it looked self-published.
Correct. It look, you know, like I said, you could see like the printouts, like for magazines, like the newspaper clippings and everything like that.
It was like Xerox copied and binded.
That's what I mean. But I have the Kindle book. You know, I'm not.
But he managed to get it on Kindle though.
Yeah, I'm not knocking what he's doing, but I just felt like, you know, he could have put a little bit more work into it. You know,
damn, he gave you a digital copy of a folder with scanned documents.
Wow.
I mean, you know, but
with a title page.
But I mean, some good information in there nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? But I just, you know, a little all over the place for me. Kind of hard to read because the fonts are different. You know, then when you read a printout, you know, you're not seeing all the letters and stuff like that. Yeah, but
so Juan was asking for what Nick said specifically, and I'm looking at the TMZ article because they usually are messy enough to just say everything you said. And let's see, the first thing he said was Nick suggested white people were a little less than darker skinned people. He also stated you can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people. He went on, we are the same people who they want to be. That's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews.
I will say, if he said those things in a row, one sentence after sentence, that's dead wrong. You got to spread that out over like 10 hours and explain yourself.
Then it's like under fire for comments he made about melanin, white people, and why the white people became savages long, long ago. And some are even calling him a black supremacist. So he then went on to say, the power of melanin or lack thereof made white people a little less, and claims this deficiency leads to fear. He was speaking anthropologically, meaning the very first white people in modern day Europe, who went on to say white people's fear made them lack compassion and ultimately become evil. He then referred to these white people of the past as savages, barbaric, and they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages.
Okay, I get it now. Nick got too much influence to be talking that much deep knowledge without Dr. Cornel West there or some Harvard professor.
That's what you're saying. Like, Juan, what he should have did since he has a platform is say, you know what, that's a good topic. We need to have two opposing views discuss this. Like have a Jewish rabbi and maybe an African American studies professor, maybe somebody off of the Hidden Colors documentary to have a debate. You know what I'm saying, about these certain topics. You know what I'm saying? And you fall back and you listen.
Right. Walk them into it. Right.
For his
family. That's the best way to do it.
And that was you got too much influence, Nick, for that, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're looking at like, yo, you're the future. You're supposed to be that post-racial kid.
They're like, you bit the hand that fits you, boy.
I hate architects. But I mean, the thing is, you know, they did not expect that coming from him. Like Dialect said, 3 years ago, he was just a goofy kid. And now all of a sudden he starts wearing a turban and hanging out with Professor Griff. And all of a sudden he's all deep and, you know, pro-black and pan-African and everything. It's like, no, dude, we can't take you seriously. And then you talk like this? We really can't take you seriously. People on the ground, like Architect said, were behind him because they believe that shit too. But the celebrity circles, oh no. They cut their phones off. They were like, new phone, who this? They were like,
they was like, what you say, boy?
What's the significance of the turban? Like, you know, what's the African significance of that? You know?
I remember that. He said when he started wearing the turbans, that the turbans expressed his inner feelings about being closer to the gods. And so it was his way of expressing that he was godlike.
It's closer to death. I mean, we all got that receding hairline going on.
Yeah, man. That's right.
So once he started doing that, I knew he was about to go left, and he took a hard left at Albuquerque. So, I mean, with what's going to come up next in this apparent Dragon Ball Z episode, we don't know. Nick now is saying that he wants Wildin' Out back because his dumbass didn't put himself down as a creator in perpetuity and owner of the intellectual property. So he wants Viacom to give it all back. Like Viacom is holding his ball hostage, and Viacom is like, come get us. And
but that's classic Viacom, though. That's in every turn. I mean, you can go again if you go back just from history perspective. Hip hop, Viacom has that reputation. So why are we surprised?
Not surprised at all. He's going to have a hard time. If he didn't figure that out when he signed it, no lawyer, no entertainment contract lawyer is going to touch this and be able to get him out of it.
I agree with Grace. You know, and the people in the circle, man, you know what I'm saying? You got to change people in your circle, Nick.
Because I don't know, because the people who should have been looking out for him should have been looking out for him and said, man, pump your brakes. Yeah. That's what your boys are there for, to do for you, not just smoke weed and sit on the couch and be like, yeah, man, you're right. They're supposed to be looking out for you if they're real friends. And his contract lawyer is going to be putting in a lot of billable hours to get him out of this one. Professor Griff at first was applauding him, but then when 50 started trolling Nick, it was a done deal. When 50 starts trolling you, you may as well just take the L and go somewhere.
If Professor Griff called us today, will we take him?
Yeah. Absolutely. We can take Dave on him.
I would ask him just about hip hop history, just him coming up with Public Enemy, having the message that they had and being able to be so successful. I would ask him about that. I'm
gonna ask the questions.
And I'll ask him about conspiracy theories in hip hop. Because that's what the book that I'm reading is about from him.
I just want Dave to get a hold of him.
Good luck.
With his Q-tip.
Yeah. So we got to cut that out and post. So, ladies and gentlemen,
don't cut that out, man.
It's coming up. It's a little after the 1 o'clock hour. So we're going to wind this up because it's past all our bedtimes. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to Hip Hop Citizen live stream show. We have been rocking with y'all at 11 p.m. every Friday as the Cornerstone Show. We also have coming up on Sunday Special Report with moi, where we're going to be doing part 2 of a 2-part show that we started, Do All Black Lives Matter to All Black People. If you want to participate in that discussion, we're going to be touching on colorism, the diaspora, trans lives, and LGBTQ community. So tune in for that. Architect is going to jump in during the week with his Architect Gems. He's going to have some unreleased hip hop, some DJs spinning, and we know that's what you tune in for is the music. So we look forward to hearing that, and then turn it right back around. We'll be back next Friday at 11 for Friday Night Live. Gentlemen, where can the people find you, Don Juan?
Don Juan. Oh, okay. It's my turn. I tell everybody you can always find me, of course. I'm always anywhere you want me to be. If I can get the banner drop there, dialect, I think they can see that better. But you can always find me at Don Juan on Facebook, at Don Juan DMac, and also on Instagram as well.
And Architect 7, where can the people rock with you?
You can find me at Architect 7 on Instagram, and then Architect 7 with the 7 spelled out on Facebook. And that's where you can find me. And then you'll find me popping up on the live stream, going rogue, pissing Don Juan off.
Tune in, ladies. He may be in the wife beater. And Dialect, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Dialect718, Instagram and Twitter, and on Hip Hop Citizen on Facebook.
And
all right, folks, don't forget David Simonism, ladies and gentlemen. The Q-tip using dog killing fool you saw earlier is at David Simonism. I don't know what platforms are left that he's on.
Facebook.
He's on Facebook, and David Simonism show is on Wednesdays. I think you guys start at 8 or 9 o'clock.
Wednesday 9 until.
9 until. And we hope we're trying to get our lineup together, folks. We would love input. We want to know what you want to see more of. What do you want to see less of? Do you want us to bring in something all new? We're considering a clip show where we just put something on the screen and laugh at it for 15 minutes. So let us know what you'd like to see and when you'd like to see it. My name has been Diva Views. I'm the Diva. These are my views. You can catch me on Instagram at It's Diva Views. And I'm also on Facebook, Diva Views Citizen. Not much on the profiles, but hey. They're there if you want to take a look at 5 pictures of like cupcakes or something. So we hope that you guys will tune in and check us out next week. Be sure to rock with us on Sunday for our lineup. And we appreciate you all around the world. Have a great night.
All social media. Thank you, guys.
Peace.